They said, "Oh, Dul al-Karyan, Gog and Magog are spoiling the land. So may we pay thee tribute on condition that thou set a barrier between us and them?" He said, "That wherein my lord hath established me is better than your tribute. Do but help me with the strength of men. I will set between you and them a bank. Give me pieces of iron." Till when he had leveled up the gap between the cliffs, he said, "Blow." Till when he had made the fire, he said, "Bring me molten copper to pour thereon." And Gog and Magog were not able to surmount, nor could they pierce it. He said, "This is a mercy from my Lord, but when the promise of my Lord cometh to pass, he will lay it low, for the promise of my Lord is true." Surah Al-Kahf. Anchored by the Taurus Mountains to the north and the Zagros Mountains in the east, the two horns of the crescent moon, the invincible iron wall of Duh al-Karyani, is both the symbol of the Sultanate and the very reason for its existence. Beyond it lies the last and the greatest realm of those who believe, easily eclipsing all other known wonders of the world. None who have seen the Iron Wall can ever forget it. Despite centuries of artillery bombardment by heretic cannons, its surface is untarnished, glittering like a newly cast steel plating in the morning sun, and at night the manifold gemstones embedded into its very structure light up in a wondrous show of color and artistry. Neither the wall itself nor its gates have ever been brought down, and while some enemies have made across the wall to spread death and terror deep into the Sultanate proper, they have always been thrown back. The wall remains warm to the touch, for scorching magma still courses within. On the exceedingly rare instances when a terrifying weapon of hell has managed to crack its surface, the outpouring of molten metal within has brought a swift death to the invaders, and the rapidly cooling lava has then hardened to reform the wall. Our Lady Immaculate Penitence. Sister Loretta was a member of a modest order of devotees to Saint Dinosia, who was scourged and subsequently martyred by a barbarian king in the 5th century. Together, the sisters maintained a tiny hospice within the sanctuary of the Immaculate Heart in Amberica, in southern Nubia. The remote sanctuary had remained untouched by war for decades, even when the legions of Mammon ravened to the south and west after the sack of Kerada. In December, beginning 3 days after St. Dionysius' holy day, the night showed the sullen red of settlements being put to torch, and thereafter each morning the smoke columns came closer. The injured and refugees fleeing to the sanctuary grew from a trickle into a flood. Bitter, defeated soldiers, terrified peasants, dust-streaked, hungry children, each day brought more, and the sisters could turn no one away. As the surrounding regions emptied, stripped bare by the followers of Mammon, food, medicine, and water became barely sufficient. Supplies were rationed, and the rations were cut again and again. As bellies emptied and the sick multiplied, men became desperate, and inevitably, despite the sisters' protestations, harsh penalties were enacted upon thieves and looters, both real and imagined. Brutal discipline, devout prayer, and sheer desperation kept the sanctuary functioning across months of deprivation and torment, each day a dull, keening knife of despair. Finally, the Legion of the 5th Golden Horn took note and closed in with the confident certainty of a hunter checking their traps. Even cornered, the people of the sanctuary knew that surrender to the Prince of Greed's brazen demands offered no peace. Instead, they chose to resist, accepting the finality of the grave and the thin prayer of hope that someone or something would come to their aid. And that's all for now, of course. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.